The people who lived in this village would have spent most of their waking hours earning their livelihood by making bricks. And they would have made them using this stuff. This is Arney clay, millions of years in the making, just waiting under the ground for people like Tony Mugridge to come along and sink his fingers into it.
Right.
You see, it's like a...
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
Okay.
No, look at that consistency, that's beautiful. Go, get your hands in it.
Can I get some as
No,
well?
enjoy it.
Right.
People pay a fortune for this stuff, you know, and they smear it on their faces.
This is probably good for your complexion.
I think it's excellent. It's a really lovely clay.
Yeah.
Unlike the English clay, which is very coarse,
Right.
coarse grain clay, this is very, very fine.
It's a creamy,
So you'll find
creamy
it's
consistency.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, after you've washed your hands feel so smooth and
Really?
yeah.
I'm very tempted to put it on the face then. and see
Yeah,
what
I
the
think
crack
so. I
is.
think it gets rid of all the lines. Apparently.
Okay, what's the process now? Let's make a brick.
Right, let's do it.
Okay.
So what I need to do is I need to get some clay.
Right.
We call the table a bank, and we need to get the clay up onto the bank.
Onto the bank.
So what I'll do is, to save you having to struggle and hurt yourself or whatever,
Okay.
and I'm used to taking this muck off.
Okay.
I'll dig a little shelf.
Tony Mugridge is that rarest of rare breeds, a peripatetic master brickmaker from England, as you'll have noticed, who travels the world equipped with a set of tools, a set of skills, and an encyclopedic knowledge of all aspects of the ancient craft of brickmaking.
A bit of iron ore, very, very fine. So they must have iron in this area.
Okay.
Well, you've got to have some iron oxides because that's what helps to turn that brick red. It's the red shows that there's iron present in the
So
clay.
this will end up being a red brick.
It'll be a red brick, yeah.
Right. And the redness is going to be brought out when it's fired. Is that the case?
That's right. The higher you take temperature, you take the clay, the difference of the colour of the brick.
Right.
So we know that the Arney bricks were fired on average at around about 1,000 to 1,020 degrees Celsius.
That's how hot they could get
Yeah,
that turf kiln.
But that's right. It's because turf burns hot.
Right.
But if this was fired to 1,100 degrees, it would turn dark red.
Right.
And if it was fired to 1,300 degrees, it would be blue.
Really?
Yeah. So like an engineering brick.
So not all the bricks are going to turn out equally successfully, in other words?
No, they're not.
No.
No,
Right.
you're going to get a lot of wastage.
So even if when you get 4,000 out here, how many of those will ultimately be usable?
They were usable, I suspect, about 800 to 1,000.
So only a quarter of them, really?
Yeah, so in other words, they would be making tens of thousands of bricks in the hope that they could get probably 5,000 they could use.
Okay. Right, okay, you're going to get
I'm going to
brick
get another
number
shot full
2.
of clay for you. And then I'll take you through the nightmare of making a brick.
Okay.
It's not a nightmare, really.
I can't use your apron to wipe my hands,
You
Tony.
can use my apron to wipe your hands on because it'll be covered in clay soon.
That doesn't feel right, somehow. Somebody else's apron.
No,
wiping
just
your-
use it. Use it. That's what it's there for.
Okay.
This is called a wire strike.
Okay.
Yeah. So all I do is I pull the wire strike through it. And you can see how easy that is. Much easier
It's
than
like a knife through butter.
Yeah. And then I'll be able to peel that off.
Ah, right.
And you can see the section through the clay. Can you see this little? You can see it here, the colour.
yeah.
You can see it there.
Yeah.
That's alumina. That's the ore that aluminium is made from.
Get away.
Or used to be made from.
Right.
And to see that in the clay means that I know then that this would have a refractory property. So in other words, I'd use it for around a fire grate and the bricks won't crack. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw this clay into that.
Okay.
So we're going to get splashed.
Oh, you throw it?
So I just warn
Can you not just press it in? No?
No, because you've got to drive out the air.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's it, it's in. Now the next stage is to take the strike over it again, and that's why the ends of the moulds are sloped. So I can get the strike to run up it.
Okay.
That takes off the excess clay, and then I can just shovel that off with my hand
Ah, see.
to one side.
Bits of sand or,
Well,
or
I think
iron?
there's a little bit of iron in there, I
Iron
think.
in there?
And then it's just a case of taking a bit of water from the trough,
Right.
and that's put on the top. And this is now an Arney slap brick because I'm slapping the water over the top of it. Now that brick's ready to go on the field, but it's got to come off of here. Passes underneath like that, and that's released it from the bench. And
Excellent.
if I stand that up like that,
Uh-huh.
you'll see that it's filled the mould.
Tony's taking his time deliberately for this demonstration. Nonetheless, you can imagine the time and the labour that would go into making 1,000 bricks, for which, I'm told, a man would be paid the princely sum of about £2 back in the 1930s. I think I would have starved.
School children did this probably better than I did it.
Yeah,
I'm
they're
sure.
brilliant. I
Yeah.
think they're used to making mud pies.
Yeah. Well,
And
I
eating them
used to
probably.
make mud pies.
You'd have forgotten. I'm taking you back to your youth.
Oh, a few weeks ago, in fact.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and off you go. Now I tell you, the Arney brickmakers used to make 5,000 a day.
Get away.
So if you're going to make any more, you're going to have to speed up a bit.
That's getting that off is the problem.
Yeah, well, just use your hand.
You
Just use your hand.
hand.
Yeah, that's what it's
okay.
there for.
That's what my hand was there for all these
Yeah,
years.
yeah, it was there to scrape bricks.
Okay.
That's it, and just get it nice and smooth on the top. That's it.
This one's going to be a little bit indented on that
No,
side.
it's going to be beautiful.
You reckon?
Yeah, it's going to be the best brick ever.
And finally, when the bricks had dried out in the air for several months, Tony Mugridge returned to oversee their firing in the temporary kiln.
So these are just machine-made bricks we put on the outside to hold the heat in.
All the bricks made by the children and the adults of Arney in celebration of their heritage. Bricks that are now being used to build a secure future for that heritage.
There's nothing wrong with those bricks.